It's never been easier to watch the entirety of the Star Wars franchise with Disney+, but before you press play on the first movie, it's important to decide your preferred viewing order, and we're here to walk you through your options. Theatrical release order. The most obvious answer is theatrical release order, since this is how the movies were shown and what George Lucas intended. It starts with the original trilogy, then takes us back to the prequel movies, then finishes up with Disney's sequel films. If you follow this order, you get the story of Luke Skywalker overcoming Darth Vader, followed by Vader's origins, then Rey picking up Luke's legacy. It gets tricky if you want to add the standalone Star Wars movies to your watch party, since Rogue One and Solo would interrupt the sequel trilogy just going by release date. So if you're doing a rewatch, we recommend skipping those two to preserve the storyline of the core movies in order. But Rogue One slaps. First-timers who want the full experience can certainly watch them in release order, or place the standalone films before or after the sequel trilogy. Chronological order. George Lucas had always intended the original Star Wars film to be a small part of a much larger story. So just because A New Hope was the first film to be released doesn't mean it's the start of the story. Instead of going with release order, you can also try chronological order based on when the movies are supposed to take place. This would mean starting with episodes 1, 2, and 3 of the prequel trilogy, before moving to 4, 5, and 6 of the original movies, then finishing with 7, 8, and 9 from the sequels. If you're adding the standalone films, you can fit Rogue One and Solo in between episodes 3 and 4, and it should work fine. However, since this order completely ruins the Darth Vader reveal in the original films, it is not advisable that anyone should watch the movies in this order for the first time. Watching Star Wars in chronological order is more like a fun experiment for longtime fans to see the series from a new perspective. Machete order. If you've already seen everything in release and chronological order, there's another option to try: machete order. This order splits the difference and has you watch episodes 2 and 3 in between episodes 5 and 6. You start with A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, but then things get wonky. Just after Luke discovers the truth about Darth Vader, you turn to the prequels as a flashback sequence. Then you watch Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith to witness how a young Anakin Skywalker was consumed by the dark side, before finishing with Return of the Jedi. The machete order cuts out Phantom Menace entirely, since almost everything in the movie is self-contained and has no effect on the other prequels. Which is amazing news for everyone who doesn't really care about, like, midichlorians and whatever. It's just science. Don't ruin my magic with science. If you're not happy about removing episode 1 and are also wondering where the sequel movies fit in here, the original creator of the machete order, Rod Hilton, has another suggestion. You could also just watch episodes 7, 8, and 9 after the other movies, and then episode 1 as a little treat, an anthology like Rogue One and Solo, so you'd watch them all at the end. Disney's narrative timeline. But what about the television shows? You probably assumed that the Clone Wars animated series takes place between episodes 2 and 3, but what about the others? While there's no specific watch order for all the different pieces of the Star Wars universe, Disney has released an official timeline. At the end of the day, though, Star Wars is Star Wars, so no matter what order you pick, you're in for a memorable journey to a galaxy far, far away.